Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Dave Ross and Scott Kerschner. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. The website is arhq.com. Senator Bernie Sanders is catching attention over a bill he recently introduced. It would set a, get this guys, 32-hour work week as the standard over 4 years with no reduction in pay. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, he had plenty to say about that recently on Fox Business.
There are bad ideas, there are very bad ideas, and there are very, very, very bad ideas. And then there are ideas that are so bad they're un-American. This is an insane idea. It's never going to happen. We're the #1 economy on earth for a reason. A third of the population strives to be entrepreneurial. There is no life-work balance when you're an entrepreneur, when you start your business. You do that to achieve financial freedom. That is the American dream. That's what my entrepreneurs do every day. I tell them, if you don't come in on Saturday, don't even bother coming in on Sunday.
And I'm not saying that Kevin is wrong here, but he is the same guy who a couple weeks ago was saying that you need at least $8 million saved up towards.
Right.
I digress. But isn't that a lot like retirement? We work 40 plus hours a week, hoping to find that life balance after we leave the job. How does creating and carrying out a plan help with that transition?
Well, the first thing I'll address is good old Bernie Sanders, right? In a previous life, I worked at Toledo Trust, downtown Toledo, back in the 80s. And they actually came out with a program where we would work 3 12-hour shifts. So I would work 3 days, 12 hours at a time. And then I would be off for 4 days, right? That was pretty cool. Like I kind of liked that. But you got to remember, I was in my early 20s when I was doing that. So you work 36 hours, you got paid for 40, but we had people swinging, covering every day of the shift. The problem with that is, with what they're proposing, the 32-hour, and Dave, you and I were talking about this before we started this segment. A lot of the older people that are working, like you and I, for example, I don't punch a time clock, and I never work 40 hours. It's more like 48, 50 hours. I mean, it's like I'm almost constantly on the clock. This past weekend, I was sitting at home and had a computer on. My son comes over and he says, "Dad, are you really working right now?" And it was, Sunday afternoon. I go, "Yeah, the weather's terrible outside. It's cold. I can't go out and mow the yard, so I'm working." So people that are working longer in life aren't punching a time clock, like you said. And, the 32 hours, I think they're setting themselves up for the younger generation to say, "Hey, it's the clock struck 5 and I'm out of here." They're turning their PCs and that off 15 minutes prior. But the 40-hour work week is something that I think is there for some people and other people not so much. But like Kevin said, how do you have that balance? That finding a work life and retirement balance. I deal with a lot of people that are looking to retire. And one of the things that these people come in and they talk about it, the spouse may want them to retire, but they don't necessarily want to. And it's a way of life for a lot of people, So, yeah, we kind of help them get things figured out as far as their finances and put things together that are going to give them a written retirement plan and get them moving through retirement so they could start doing some of the things that they wanted to do and try to manage that balance, which is very, very hard. You're living it, as am I. What do you have to add to that, Dave?
Well, I would say that, for me, speaking totally for me, my vision of Dave Ross retirement is I'll work from 8 until noon, and then I'll tee off at 12:30 when the weather's nice.
Exactly.
So, I don't see myself basically saying, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it anymore. In a perfect world, I would have clients. I would have a purpose for every day to come in and do something. But my balance is I'm going to do things with my wife, who can retire in a couple years as a teacher. We will have that. But you know what? When you enjoy what you're doing, why hang it up. I mean, I don't know why you would just say, I don't want to do this anymore, because we enjoy it, we're good at it, and it is what it is. So
yeah, I had a client that actually came in last week, and he went to one of my events, and he's turning 65 here in July, as a matter of fact. And we got to talking, and he's in great health, and he says, I said, well, when do you anticipate retirement? He says, boy, you know what? I don't know, 70, probably somewhere between 70 and 72, right? So his balance for him is exactly what you said. He loves what he does. He's not out in the elements. He's not beating his body up. He's actually doing a job that he thoroughly enjoys. It's not hard. He's making a nice living. So he's going to put that off as long as he can. Now, one of the things that is kind of like our responsibility, and Nolan Baker and the team here, is trying to get people properly positioned to be able to do that, right? And I think that is probably the most important thing. Like Kevin O'Leary says, if you work and have the resources available to retire, you can find a lot easier way to get that balance worked out. If you don't have the resources available, then you may not have a choice, but you have to keep working. So, I mean, that's what we do here. We kind of help, put that plan in place. One of the things it's important to know what you want to do and how you want to get that accomplished through retirement is one of the most important things. That will help design a plan and get you on that balanced program.
But it's not to say that your plans can't change down the line. We all know, new hobbies being developed, or certainly wanting to travel more, or maybe there's a new family member, a new grandchild on the way that you want to spend more time with. So having a plan that not just gets you to retirement, but through retirement for whatever may come down the line. And, we hope that, like Dave, and like so many out there, you do truly love what you want to do. And maybe you don't plan on retiring anytime soon. We hope that's the case. Hope you get to work as long as you choose to. Occasionally that's taken out of your hands. Sometimes you just wake up one day and decide you don't want to do it anymore. If you have a plan in place already, I think that decision becomes a lot easier to make, and it seems like a lot less panic all in all, whether it is that phased retirement, whether it is just clocking out for the last time at 65 and then enjoying whatever it is. You need to have a plan. The team at America's Retirement Headquarters can help you craft and maintain that plan. 419-794-3030 is how it gets started, and the website is arhq.com.